Okay, today guys you're going to complete your EOC review worksheet from this video. Please get this completed and have it ready to submit the next time that we meet. So it says write a system of equations to model this situation and use your system to solve. At a garage sale, a CD costs 3 times as much as a book. You bought 3 books and 2 CDs. You spent $18. What is the price of a CD and the price of a book? So those are 2 unknowns. We've got the price of a CD. We'll say C equals price of a CD. And we're going to say B equals the price of a book. Okay. You're going to use your 2 sentences up here. It says the CD cost. So cost is like saying it equals that. So it's going to be C equals 3 times as much as a book. So 3 times as much a book means we're going to be multiplying 3 times whatever the cost of the book is, which we're representing by B. The second sentence says that you bought 3 books and 2 CDs. So 3 books is going to be, 3 books and 2 CDs is going to be 3 times the cost of a book, which is going to be B, plus 2 CDs, so 2 times the cost of a CD, and it says you spent $18, so that totals up to $18. Now this is a problem that you would solve by substitution because it's already set up as C equals, so we're going to put a box around this. We're going to plug this into our C right here in this equation, so it's now going to be 3B plus 2 times 3B equals 18. We're going to go ahead and multiply this right here. We're going to bring down the 3B plus 2 times 3B is going to be 6B equals 18. We're going to combine like terms. They're both B's, so we're going to put that together. It's going to be 9B equals 18. We divide both sides by 9. That's going to tell us that B is going to equal 2. So the cost of the book is going to be 2, and put it in terms of money, so it's going to be $2. We plug that back into the box because that's what the box is for, guys. And that's going to make it C equals 3 times 2, which means C equals 6. So the price of a CD is going to be $6. And you need to write out a sentence answer because this is a sentence question. What is the price of a CD and the price of a book? The price of a CD is $6 and the price of a book is $2. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Problem number 2 says find the product and write it in standard form. This is a foiling problem. We've got first, outer, inner, and last to multiply. When we multiply x squared times x, that's going to give us x to the third. X squared times negative 3 is going to give us negative 3x squared. 4 times x is going to be plus 4x. And then 4 times negative 3 is going to give us negative 12. If there were any like terms, we would put them together. If they were not in order already, we would put them in order. But this is already in standard form and there are no like terms, so this would be our final answer. For the next one, it says write an equation of a parabola with zeros at -6 and 5. Guys, this is going to be coming from your information to do, we're basically working backwards on factoring. We're given the zeros at the beginning, so we're going to set it up like this. So we're going to set up our 2 zeros. Our zeros are -6 and 5. If we have our 2 sets of parentheses, and we had this equal to 0, we would need the opposite of this in here. That's what we do when we find the zeros. So the opposite of this is going to be x plus 6. And the opposite of this is going to be x minus 5. Once we do that, then we're going to keep going backwards by foiling this with first, outer, inner, and last. So let's multiply that. X times x is going to be x squared. X times negative 5 is going to be negative 5x. 6 times x is going to give us plus 6x. And then 6 times negative 5 is going to give us negative 30. Now, we do have like terms to combine. We're going to need to put these two together. When we do, it's going to give us x squared. When you have a negative 5 and a positive 6x, that's going to give you x. So it's just going to be x. It's going to be 1x minus 30 equals 0. From there, you're going to take and you're going to find the y-intercept of that problem. To find the y-intercept of that parabola, you're going to plug in 0 for x to get your y and find out what that's going to be equal to. So to do that, we're going to plug in 0 for x. Again, guys, we're looking for an ordered pair. It's the y-intercept. It's going to be the ordered pair 0, b. So in this case, it's going to be 0 and then some number. When we plug into this, we're going to get a number. So let's plug in 0 for x. It would be 0 squared plus 0 minus 30, which, guys, that'd be 0 plus 0 minus 30, which you could do that on the calculator. It's going to give you negative 30. That would be your y-intercept at negative 30. 0, negative 30. Now, if it helps you guys, you could have set it up in a table from there. This would have been a table where you've got this set up like this. And the only number we're plugging in for this is going to be our x, which is going to be 0. We're going to get our y, just so we can see it in a different way. And that y is going to put you at negative 30. It's just one number being plugged into a table instead of a whole table. All they want is the y-intercept, so we plug in 0 for x. Okay, guys, back up to number 4. So on problem number 4, it says find a 0 of the function, 1 0, find a 0 of the function, and here's the function. First things first, it's not equal to 0, so we're going to need to solve it. To do that first, so we minus 7x minus 7x, that cancels that out. I bring it down and put it in order. The 4x squared has the highest power, then the minus 7x, and the plus 3 goes last as the constant. That's going to be equal to 0. We're going to make our diamond. Our diamond is going to be a hard diamond. We multiply the first number times the last number. That'd be 12 on top. We take that middle number and put it on the bottom. Since it's a positive on top and negative on the bottom, both the numbers have to be negative. And in this case, they're going to be negative 3 and negative 4. It does not matter which one comes first. It's going to give you the same answer in the long run. We're going to set up our two sets of parentheses. Now, because this is a hard diamond, instead of putting x by itself in the front, it's going to be 4x with no square, 4x, and then these diamond numbers go at the back. So it's going to be minus 3 and minus 4. When you're doing a hard diamond, you have to see if anything will cancel out of either one of these. So we can take a 4 out of both these. It's going to leave us 4x minus 3 multiplied times x minus 1, because the 4's cancel out here and here, equals 0. Now to find the zeros, to find a 0 of the function, it's going to be the opposite of whatever's here. So the opposite of negative 3 is 3, and you always have to divide by anything that's right here, so it'd be 3 over 4. For this one, it's the opposite of what's here, which would be 1. All divided by what's in front of here, so that's going to be 1. We don't write that, we just write 1. Now, it says find a 0, so my guess is on the test it's going to ask for one of them, and you would either write down 3/4 as your answer, or you would write down 1. You would not write down both of them, because it asks for a 0 of the function. Be careful about that. Okay, guys. So for this next one, it says, what is the minimum value of the equation? Remember that minimum value is the same thing as when you're doing the vertex. So you're going to use that vertex formula in order to use the vertex formula, which is the opposite of b all over 2a. You're going to have to pull out your a, your b, and your c. In this case, a would be equal to the number in front of x squared is 1. Your b is going to be equal to whatever's in front of your x, which is -4, and your c is the constant or the number without a variable, so it's -3. You're going to plug it into this formula right here, which is going to be the opposite of -4 all over 2 times 1. Now, the opposite of -4 is going to be 4 over 2, and 4 divided by 2 is going to leave you a x that's equal to 2. Now, that is going to be the x. Now, you got to think about this like a table. If you want to think about it like a table for Max and Min to get the point, please do. Y'all seem to do better when I do this. We're only doing one ordered pair, though, because we just want the max or min. So, in this case, it's a minimum. So this is going to be 2 over here for our x. We're going to be plugging it into x squared minus 4x minus 3, and we're going to get the other number for our y so that we have that ordered pair that is our max or min. It's going to give us an ordered pair as a final answer that goes in parentheses with a comma. So let's plug it in. 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 3. I'm replacing every single one of these x's with the number that we're plugging in. So we're replacing it with the 2. When you do that math, that'd be 4 minus 8, which would be -4, and -4 minus 3 would put you at -7. These would be my x and my y for this ordered pair, which is called my minimum. So it would be the ordered pair 2, -7. 2, -7. Okay. Last one on the front says simplify using positive exponents. To do this, you're going to start off by making sure that you have the positive ones on the top and the negative ones need to move to the bottom side because currently they are both on the top of the fraction. So we draw a fraction bar, we put it over 1, we draw our new fraction bar. The a is going to stay on the top because it is already a positive exponent. It can be a fraction. It's just got to be positive. And then because the b has a negative exponent, it's going to move to the bottom, become b to the third because you change the sign when you move it. And that's where it ends. You have no more negative exponents. There's nothing else you need to do to the problem. So that's the end of everything that's on the front, guys. Okay, let's go to the back side. Here we go. Problem number 7. Problem number 7 said Jenny's business made $4,500 in January and $8,600 in March. Guys, listen to me. This is a rate of change problem. It says, what is the rate of change in her profit per month? So this is a problem that is looking for slope. Rate of change is just another word for slope. Now, how are we going to get slope when we don't only have 2 numbers? We don't have an ordered pair. We do have ordered pairs, okay? So January. January is the first month, and in the first month, they made $4,500. January tells you the month. That would come first. You have to know what month it is before you know what kind of money they made in that month. So this, the money they made, is going to go on the second part. The month goes here, and the money is going to go over here. This is going to be your X, this is going to be your Y. Month and money. For the second one, it's going to be March. March is the third month, and their amount that they make is $8,600. They want to know what the rate of change is based on that. So we're going to set it up so that we can do y minus y over x minus x. This is the formula we're using. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's that slope formula. You're going to need that. So it would be set up with, guys, remember, this is your x1, this is your, if I could get it to write y1, this is your x2 and your y2. So when you're setting it up, it's going to be 8,600 minus 4,500 all over 3 minus 1, which when you do the math for that, it's going to leave you 4,100 on the top over 2 on the bottom. And when you simplify that out, it will simplify down to 2,050. The rate of change is $2,050 per month. That's how much her profit has changed in those months, per month. Okay, let's go down to number 8. So problem number 8 says, write an exponential function to model the data in the following table. They've already done the work though, guys. They've got them set up. You're going to go through and work through these and see what works by taking and writing these out. You're going to do 2 times 3x, 3 to the x, I'm sorry. And then b is going to be 4 to the x plus 2. This next one's going to be 3 to the x plus 2. And d is going to be 2 times 2 to the x. And there you go. You're going to take and you're going to plug in these numbers. I'd start just by plugging 0 into all of them, see if it eliminates any of them. 2 times 3 to the 0 would be 2 times 3 to the 0, guys, is 1, and 2 times 1 is 2. That works for that one. Let's see if it works for this one. 4 to the 0 plus 2 would be 1 plus 2, which would be 3. And that's not 2. That doesn't work, so that one's out. The next one is 3 to the 0 plus 2. That's going to be 1 plus 2, which is going to be 3. That one's out. It doesn't equal 2. The last one is 2 times 2 to the 0, which means 2 times 1, which is going to give you 2. Okay. So this one's still working. This one's still working. We're out on B. We're out on C. Okay, let's do the next number. We're going to plug in 1. We're only going to plug it in this first one and this last one because we don't need to plug in the others. We've already eliminated them. So it's going to be 2 times 3 to the 1. That's going to be 2 times 3, which is going to be 6. That works. This one over here, it's going to be 2 times 2 to the 1. Oop, I'm putting parentheses, correct? Which is going to be 2 times 2, which is going to be 4. That one doesn't work, guys. We've eliminated it. So that one is out. That doesn't equal 6. It should be this first one. Now, this test is too important just to say it should be. You're going to plug in the rest of your numbers and make sure that it works. You've got to plug in 2, 3, and 4 and confirm that that first one worked. So 2 times 3 to the 2nd is going to be 2 times 9, which is going to be 18, which as you can see in your table, it does equal 18. Then we're going to do 2 times 3 to the 3rd, which is going to be 2 times, guys, you got to learn how to use that power button, so if you need help with that, come see me at my desk. 2 times 3 to the 3rd, 3 to the 3rd is going to put you at 27. And 2 times 27 is going to put you at 54. Check. One last problem. It's going to be 2 times 3 to the 4th, which is going to be 2 times 81, which is going to be 162. And check. So that is the one that works. So our answer choice is A. It's got to work for all of the numbers to work, guys. Process of elimination. Okay, so the next one, we're going to go over here. Problem number 9 is next. It says, if I begin with the function y equals the absolute value of x and translate that function to y equals the absolute value of x plus 2 minus 3, what shift happened on the graph. Now, guys, we've talked about that we didn't get into this. We didn't have time to get into this too much, so this is a perfect time to put on here and you review this information. This could make the difference for you between a pass-fail, a 4 and a 5. Watch this. When you have y equals the absolute value of x plus a number, that number is going to shift the graph, okay, left whatever that number is. Because it's on the inside, it's the opposite. Even though it's plus, you're going to go to the left when it's on the inside. Okay, same thing over here. If it's y equals the absolute value of x minus a number, because it's on the inside, it does the opposite. So it's going to shift your graph right however many that is. Right however many that number is inside there. It's the opposite when it's on the inside. These tell you to go left or right when it's on the inside, and they're the opposite of whatever you think. The up-down comes from whatever's on the outside. So if you have y equals the absolute value of something, and then you have something added onto the end of it, that is going to shift your graph up whatever that number is. It goes in the direction you think. It's on the outside. It does not change. If it is plus a number, you go up however many that is. If it is on the outside and it is a minus a number, that is going to shift your graph down whatever that number is. Down whatever that number is. So in this case, we need to be able to describe what it's doing based on these numbers right here. The numbers we're looking at are this 2 on the inside and this 3 on the outside. So when we start this, we're going to start with dealing the part on the outside. So the outside part tells you to move up or down. Because it is a minus, it's telling you to move down. So your graph is going to shift down 3, and because on the inside it's got a plus 2, that is going to shift it. Remember, it's the opposite, so even though it's plus 2, it's really like thinking of it as a minus 2. Anytime it's plus, it's going to shift it to the left, so it's going to shift left 2. So it's going to shift down 3 and left 2. Okay, guys, our last one. Let's take a look at this and see what we've got. So for our last one, it's going to be a process of elimination problem dealing with this and putting it into a graph. The first thing we're going to talk about is where these start. Notice, your x's start here at -2. This is the -2 line right here. Axis of symmetry right there would be -2 on a parabola. That's what that line is, that x equals -2. So on these, x is going to be -2, or it's going to be something bigger than that. So x equals -2 or more. On this one, it's going to be x equals -2 or more. These, however, we're going to start, instead of on the negative side, the x is going to start on the positive side. So x is going to equal +2 or more. Same thing down here, x equals +2 or more. You can see it starts right there at 2. That's the line it starts at, x equals 2. Now, how are you going to deal with that with the table and see which one it is? It either starts at -2 or it starts at +2. Those are the only two options. So let's look at this and talk about this equation. The equation says, write it down here for you, y equals the square root of x minus 2 plus 1. Now guys, it's under a radical. It can't be a negative under there. It's not the set of all reals. It's not going to work. Because of that, you're going to want a number that can go under here that will not make it negative. Okay? It can be 0, but it can't be negative, so it has to have a starting point. So what is the number that you would plug in here to make this equal 0 if it's got -2? That number would be y equals, and the first number we could use would be 2 minus 2 plus 1. Because that would be y equals the square root of 0 plus 1, which would be y equals 0 plus 1, which would be y equals 0. So, whenever you have this, whenever x is negative 2, y is going to equal 0. Questions, concerns, anything so far, just come see me. So you know that your number, we talked about this number right here. Oh, sorry, I wrote 0 plus 1 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. So you know that smallest number you can use right there is going to be 2. It can't get any smaller than that, because if it's smaller than that, you're going to have a negative number and a radical, and that doesn't work in the set of all reals. So you know these two are eliminated immediately. The second thing you can look at is what you got for y when you ended up plugging in 0 for x. It's an ordered pair. 0, 1. Where is that point? It's on one of these two graphs and it's not on the other. So the point 0, don't go left or right. Go up to 1. Oh, sorry. I had that backwards. 0, not 0, 1. 2, 1. I apologize. Sorry, I was not paying attention. 2, we plugged in 2. I apologize, that's my fault. 2, 1. That ordered pair 2, 1 would be on one of these two graphs. So that ordered pair 2, 1 would start at the origin and go over 2 and up 1. It's on that graph. Now if we go on here and we go over 2 and up 1, it's not on that graph, so this one is eliminated. So C would have to be your choice. You could also plug in other numbers to this and get the other ordered pairs on here. You could add in and plug in 3, 4, 5, and they're going to all end up on your graph line right here to check and confirm that that is the correct line. Okay, guys, that's it for this worksheet. If you will please go ahead and finish this up, and then we will be submitting this the next time I see you.